Well, I think you try to find different things that, I mean, if you're really that big, you probably, there's certain equities that'll perform, well when gold performs. There are miners as well. There are other things. I'm not managing a $1 trillion portfolio. I don't really worry about that. I have a very large percent of DTAP, which is my own entity, allocated to gold and Bitcoin. And I see the two together for me, and I have more gold than I have Bitcoin. But, look, increasingly the Bitcoin side is getting much larger because I am, as I say in my Twitter bio, I am a hodler of gold, of physical and Bitcoin. I think, so when I say that each person has different needs, so gold is really important to this institutional world, but they've yet to acknowledge it, right? You don't see it in the allocations yet. People don't have it. The language of understanding gold is really still just in its infancy for them, right? That's why this coexistence ending it is totally off base, because for these people, it hasn't even started yet. And that's why I keep saying gold and Bitcoin are like cousins, because, it's a hard money asset in a world where for the first time in my career, there has never been as clear and active a debasement of fiat, ever. I mean, in the last 30, ever. So what are you gonna do against that, right? Historically, a store of value was like the yen, right? Or the Swiss franc. But no one's buying the yen anymore. That's like 15 years ago. That's the problem, is that there aren't enough safe haven options. You're so far ahead, you don't realize it. Like gold,
I completely agree in the short term.
Even accepted in institutional circles yet, right? They're gonna say, we need a hedge for the next 5 years to replace our bonds, right? They can't go in and do 30 billion of Bitcoin. They just can't do it. And it would be irresponsible to own 10% or 20% of all the Bitcoin outstanding. And they'll draw the price up a lot. It just doesn't make sense. Before they get to a 5 to 10% allocation in gold, it will be years, okay? Years. So that's why, now if you're telling me in 50 years from now, people will have more Bitcoin than gold, I mean, I think, sure, it could be, maybe. But hold on one second, because I played that thought out as well, reading your piece. I said, so 50 years from now, I have a different thought than you do.
Okay, this is what I want to hear, is what do you think happens over a long period?
50 years from now, every single asset will be on the blockchain. Every financial asset, whether it's on, the Bitcoin network or whether something in the future happens or whatever it is, I don't know. But everything will be digital. Everything of extreme value, right? We love Bitcoin because of its intense security. It's unhackable. If you want to do, for large transactions, eventually the collateral of the system, everything, we agree on all of that. Okay. The one thing is that maybe in that time, 50 years from now, there might actually be a premium for physical gold because it won't be on the blockchain. Physical gold will be physical. It won't be tracked. So you forget everything, every Bitcoin, everyone knows where it is. It's completely known. And the tax authorities are also going to know, and governments are going to know, and everyone's going to know, okay? But they're not going to know on gold, okay? And they still don't know on gold. And physical gold, I'm talking about. Forget ETF and futures and all that. There might be a premium because 50 years from now, physical gold will be the only liquid asset that is not digital. Now, some of it will be digitized, like the Pax Gold token could have 50 billion on it eventually or whatever it is. But that, to me, also in my mind is like, I think that physical gold is completely anonymous if you want it to be. And physical gold is not considered a security also. So the regulations around physical gold and the taxation principles are different. There is a chance that in the future, when Bitcoin becomes an established thing and everyone has it and it's trading at 400,000 or 500,000, government may say, yeah, we want to tax. You guys have made $10 billion. We're going to tax Bitcoin at 50%, right? They'll know it. There'll be a record of it. Physical gold is different. And I'll tell you why. And this isn't about evading taxes. No, I'm not talking about that. There are different taxation laws for physical in different jurisdictions. As an example, in the UK, if you are a UK citizen, you can buy their sovereign coins, the UK sovereign coins, and they're pretty liquid, and pay no tax ever. No capital gains, no income, no wealth, no inheritance, nothing. They're grandfathered in, zero tax forever. So that's a nice way. Yeah, I know, that's one thing. There are many things like that around the world for physical gold. Okay, I'm not gonna get into them, but because it's an old asset, because in certain places they try to encourage ownership of gold, again, that can change, but remember, in 50 years from now, there could be that premium, right? Because it'll be something that is not known, if you want it to be not known, right? So that's, that's something you should think about. I mean, I don't think it plays into any, anything that impacts my decision-making, because I think it's still early for both assets. Yeah, I mean, look, I think institutions should have somewhere between 5 and 10% in gold. And then I kind of use like a 3-to-1 ratio. That's what I, so if you have 10% in gold, 3% in Bitcoin. If you're a retail person, depending on your age, like I think you can have, you could have 20% in Bitcoin if you're a 30-year-old guy, 0 in bonds, like 0. You should not own any bonds at all, 0. So I think, I think, but everyone has different risk appetite. It's hard to say. I mean, I've heard you say you're 80% in Bitcoin or whatever it is. I really am from sort of the Druckenmiller camp of, I like to put all my eggs in one basket and then watch that basket very carefully. It's just a macro guy focus. I want to be in the fastest horse.